What happens after several denials, delays, or rejections for disability benefits after a car accident from insurance companies or employers when resources are devastated, leaving most injured discouraged? From my perspective, this is the place many companies who lack integrity want you. Desperate, yes, desperate enough to walk away from the benefits you deserve, or take such a reduction in money that it leaves the injured or sick living in poverty for most of the remaining years. I suspect many people experience this and is played out every single day. Our Congress and our state representatives let it go on. Why? Is it the lobbyists hired by insurance companies or employers? How many people have spent their lives struggling with a disability because our representatives have failed them? Realize that rejection is the goal to get you to give up your disability claim. Don't feel ashamed. In my opinion, the injured have been subjected to this kind of behavior for generations. So, from my perspective, those who intimidate and harass their insurers by this time are good at it. On the other hand, most injured people are like minnow fish swimming in a pool of sharks. Your chances of overcoming these odds are slim.
What can you do? Welcome and thank you for joining ESTRATV on Blog TV this March 6, 2013. This is your car accident television show sharing information and concerns that help you. Let's talk about you and rejection today here on the broadcast. Hi, I'm Estra, your host. Tune in every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are coming to you from Seattle, Washington. On this program, your challenges in dealing with insurance companies and self-insured employers or coping with everyday situations from being in a car accident are up for discussion. So join me on the road right now and let's talk about it.
Now for my commentary on you and rejection. Adding rejection when someone is already hurting physically, emotionally, financially, in my opinion, creates an enormous amount of unnecessary suffering. Expectations of financial safety and security is thrown right out the window. In some cases, those you'd hope were trustworthy to turn out to be ones that are destined for holding on to the money you thought one day would be available for daily living and protection from any unseen tragedy. But what has happened? Has your expectations for insurance companies or employers held up to personal scrutiny? Fortunately, those with resources are able to protect their interest, in my opinion. And unfortunately, those average Jennas and average Joes may not be able to afford the same option. In fact, from my perspective, many have faced unrelenting harassment and intimidation in order to eliminate their claims. The psychological games played with their minds, in my opinion, could almost rival what soldiers may face on the battlefield. They must make decisions under duress. They must figure out the truth from fiction while still trying to hold on to a life that could quickly be fading. So what happens if and when a preponderance of rejections come from many directions in hopes of discouraging and breaking down those filing disability claims? How will you hold up if this happens to you? From my perspective, it depends on the level of past and current sufferings, how well informed you are on the objectives of this rejection, and current support systems, but most importantly, a determination not to give up on yourself. Make a decision how much you want to fight with those who have made a choice not to pay out on your disability claim. It takes a lot of time and energy for a person who is injured or sick to have to go through those hoops in the middle of trying to heal. And another thing is, I'm just going to add also, is the fact that it could take, 2 to 10 years. That's a lot of someone's life to invest, and that's what they're counting on that you may not want to do. But in my opinion, those organizations that choose this path want to strike while you are at your most incapacitated. Thus, you are at your worst, but they are at their best. And if they keep it up long enough, they can hinder your recovery efforts and use up any additional energy you may have to take them on. But is this true? And what are your options? If you find someone to assist in struggles, make sure they do not work with the companies you are coming up against. And it's a lot of strange bedfellows people. Don't be surprised by the strange bedfellow people today. I'm just saying, it's kind of wild. It's important to always be your best advocate and to stay abreast on anything related to your well-being. Which I'll add is, I know it's very difficult when you're not feeling well and you're trying to just survive each and every day. Another option is to take it gradually and to move slowly until health has a chance for improvement. It doesn't have to be all the way better, but just enough so that you can be able to do some things in your behalf. It's a point where the best decisions can be made. This means learning what needs to be done and seeking out those who have taken the same road so you can learn from their mistakes and their victories, because victories are most important, in order to develop your own plan. A rejection does not mean it's over. From my point of view, it means finding the open door. You know what I'm saying? You just have to keep going. You can't be discouraged by other people's behavior. You have to make a decision that this is your life. This is the best thing in my interest. I'm going to be my best advocate, and this is how I'm going to move forward. And additionally, you can decide not to deal with them at all, believe it or not. Yeah, you really can choose that. It's your life. You can make that choice and could just continue on your recovery. Just be determined to do very well in spite of the possible bad faith practices. Regardless of insurance or employer actions or behavior, remember this: it is your life. And you can choose your destiny, whether able or disabled. So don't give anyone, I repeat that, don't give anyone rights over you. It's given to you. That life was breathed into you, okay? Live it to your best abilities. And no matter what comes your way, you can't necessarily stop crazy things from happening, because sometimes they just kind of do. That's why I told Mike to keep his head up. So just no matter what rejection is faced, stay positive, go forward. Michelle Obama said something that I thought was really great. She was back talking to students in Chicago this last week. And she said that with all the things that were surrounding her, she focused on herself and the good things and positive and where she wanted to go. And in my opinion, that's a good motto to follow in most situations in life. They're always going to be as she call it, the haters, or I call them the harassment and intimidators. But you can't let those types of people, or people who don't do what they know is right and fair, you can't let them stop you. You have to make that decision to say, hey, you know what? I'm moving on. So seek out choices until you find what fits your needs. The most important thing, in my opinion, is not to allow rejection experiences by insurance companies or employers to create a bleak picture in your heart and mind. And that's so important. Remember, your heart and your mind belong to you. They belong to no one else. They're yours. And don't let people put things in there that would be negative and then hurt your dreams, your way of life, your recovery. Okay? Those are yours. Do things happen to hurt our hearts and shock our minds? Absolutely. Those things all the time. But you do not have to allow your heart or your mind to become bleak. You can make the decision to say, I'm going to go forward. You have options. Life is not futile. Although it may be hard because of insurance or employers' refusal to pay disability benefits in case you become disabled and sick. But from my perspective, in life, one reaps what one sows. So you may not see the result of this behavior, but I personally believe it will come. Life is just too short to stop dreaming and reaching for your goals. Use the rejection as a fuel to move forward in life. Okay, realize this has no reflection, most importantly, on who you are, your value, your abilities. I'm going to repeat that, okay, because I want you to make sure that you do realize that rejection has no value of who you are or your abilities. Okay, that's somebody else making decisions and choices based on their needs and desires. Okay, trust and believe in yourself and what you can do in spite of bad faith practices, because in my opinion, you're always going to find someone who's going to try to rain on your parade. The only thing I can tell you is to keep an umbrella with you. Keep that umbrella and keep it open if you need to. And in this case, it might be a videotape and camera. Okay, so rejection, is it going to come? Yes, it is. Do you let it have to stop you from doing the things that you need to do? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You keep your head up, you stay focused, you get healed, and you stay hopeful. Let nobody take your hope.